Hey there, this is Krista, and I get to sit here with a couple of guys this morning and really understand why they do what they do and the purpose and passion behind the Jackson Hole Steelworks. So I'm going to pass it over to Chaz and to Travis, and they're going to introduce themselves, and we're going to learn more about why they do what they do. All right, let's go. Who's going to go first? You're
Very much.
Chaz, and you're Travis.
Travis, yep.
All right.
So,
Well, go for
why
it.
don't you go first?
Okay, I'll go.
You're all warmed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. So, hi everybody, I'm Travis. This is Jackson Hole Steelworks, a little craft distillery here in Jackson Hole, and Chaz and I started in February of 2014, just out of a desire to make something tangible that people could enjoy, and get one of my best friends out of a horrible office job. You got to tell that story.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
Obviously you were working for a corporation or a
I
company.
was. It was a very large one.
Yeah.
And Travis and I had all known each other for years before that, but it was actually his mom that sort of really primed all of this and said, "You two need to do something together. You have to make this happen."
that's
So
great.
we'd always wanted to produce something that was maybe in the spirits world, alcohol world, and beer. We kind of gravitated a little bit to that. And while I was in business school, we developed a business model for a brewery and used it in case studies and all that stuff. But I left school and had to get a job, and I started working for a company down in Colorado. I'm trying to keep this as anonymous as possible.
Okay.
But no, I was actually in the office, and one of the cubicle mates had said, "Hey, you didn't notice." I said, "Well, notice what?" He goes, "I got a new figurine for the separator and the partitions," and I just kind of said, "Oh, sorry, man." It was like Incredible Hulk or something like that.
Yeah.
This kid gave it to him, which was really kind of cute. But anyway, I'd had kind of a crazy day, and I just all of a sudden got some sort of illness, a
Yeah.
sudden illness that could have been very
Needed to leave.
contagious for the rest of the office. So I told my manager I gotta go, and I walked out the front door and called Travis on the way out, and I'm like, "I am done. We gotta start
Hey,
this up."
and you know what? You probably did get an illness, like your stomach wasn't right. It was like,
I'm sure.
yeah. I've talked to a lot of people that will be driving into work and they're sick in their stomach and they're realizing something's off, I'm not in the right place, and then they just do exactly what you did. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
mental-
done, I'm out of here. I mean, sometimes it just happens that quickly.
And it's a slow process, that the mental drain of that environment. And not to say it's, some people love it, and it's easy to slip into that world because the security side of, a salary position, and you got your weekends and everything's easy, but then you get the house and the cars and everything sort of revolves around a world that you're kind of pressured into remaining. And
Yes.
luckily for me, and we didn't have the kids in the house and all that stuff, and so it was a little bit easier to pull the ripcord. But some people all feel like they don't have that choice.
And they feel stuck in a corporate job when they really aren't enjoying it, but it's more because they're committed to a family, committed financially.
Very admirable in ways, and that's not
Yeah.
an easy thing to do, but it's certainly not for everyone. And I think that mentally you don't want to feel like caught in that world, and it does drain you on the way to work.
That's
Your
right.
commute is not as fun.
Not pleasant. I want to hear more about the two of you. And did you grow up together as like playmates, or how did you meet?
No, we barely missed each other because we both actually spent. I mean, I grew up outside of Philadelphia, and Chaz spent a good time living out there too, and he was young little dude, and but we just were ships in the night out there, so we didn't meet until out here about 20 years ago.
Okay.
And Chaz moved out here, and his first job was being a pool boy.
And my boss was his best friend.
Yeah, exactly. The guy I moved out here from, that I'd known since forever, was his boss. And I walk into the little office, and Chaz was tying flies. He's a big fly fisherman, and I'm a big fly fisherman. I'm like, "Oh, what are you working on?" And that was the beginning, and then we just became
Yeah.
great buddies. We've been in each other's weddings, you know, just been good friends for
That's
20 years.
cool that you guys were from Philadelphia, but didn't know each other there.
Yeah,
And then,
ships in the night out
Isn't
there.
that
I mean,
something?
probably rubbed shoulders in bars back there in our, you know,
In college days.
teens. No, definitely post
Definitely.
21.
We were
yeah.
legal, I'm
yeah,
sure of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Product testing for future business
course,
prospects. So, but yeah. So I mean, just spent the past 20 years or whatever before we started business, hunting, fishing, hanging out.
Yeah.
Getting,
Where did the entrepreneurial spirit come from, do you think?
well, I don't know. We both have had businesses
for sure.
prior as well, and I think it's just a desire to think outside the box, do something different.
You got to create to be able to manage and run your own business and control the customer service side and the PR, and then what Travi was doing was building these beautiful wine cellars and homes all over Mountain West. And when you finish something and it actually, this relates very much to our business, is that when you finish a wine cellar, when Travi did, or when I finished a trip guiding people fishing, and you finish the day and you put a smile on their face. And we actually rolled that into our business and enjoy that. So that I think is a big part of it, for sure. I think that's the passion is.
Well, I had heard yesterday when we got our tour that the two of you will physically go to a bar or a restaurant and promote
Oh yeah,
your product.
we got
So
one
you're,
at
you're
11
like
o'clock here.
intimately,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're intimately involved in that part of it. So I want to hear what that means to you.
Oh yeah, I mean nobody can sell the product better than the guys that make the product and the guys who started the business, and so that's us. And there's that personal connection that more and more these days is lost, especially after year of COVID, right? So now we're in this situation where we miss all of our clientele, the people that we have spent the past 7 years building this business with. So we're getting out and moving the product by making that personal connection. So handshakes and smiles.
Yeah.
It makes the product very real. It's not some big corporate booze that everybody kind of knows, but there's no face to it. It's just an ad campaign with billions of dollars behind it.
Yeah.
Which we don't have. We've just got these beautiful faces.
So do you divide up the roles in the company?
A little bit,
Sort of, yeah.
There's some division on the functional side of the business, and Travi deals a lot more with the accounting and management of the numbers, and I do a lot more of like the creative build on marketing stuff, and we both share in making sure that our employees are very happy. That is a constant. Yeah, it's a pretty good marriage of just those two roles, and certainly retaining the friendship. But yeah, to Travis's point on building those relationships, that has been paramount for us. And it surprises people a lot when we walk in with a rep and they're like, oh, I want to introduce you to
The owners.
Chaz or Travis, and they're like, oh, what do you do? And we're like, well, we own this. And they're like, you came all the way here to meet us in a little tiny, town of Pennsylvania or wherever. That is really cool, and it matters to the reps and the trickle down effect in terms of that sale. But
You know
That
what I
really helps
just-
build the story.
It does.
As the story sells.
What I heard in that story too, which is kind of cool, is when you were talking about the mission of seeing the smile on the person's face, you're actually experiencing it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you're getting to feel what you're intending to put out there. That's
Yeah.
great.
Very true.
I love that.
Yeah. Pretty fun.
What would you give advice? What have you learned, like in the past 5-7 years, that
Well, we haven't learned anything.
No. Actually, our motto is, are we learning anything yet?
Yeah.
We say that to each other all the time,
Yeah.
and the staff says it too. I think the number one thing that we did when we built this business is we took our time and really worked on the numbers and developing sort of the principles of the business and what we wanted to create, and dug in deep to that. And that included sort of the expectations of running the business, when we were going to be able to hire employees, looking at all of the projections and sort of estimations for year 1, 2, 3, and worked incredibly hard on that. It was all still off, but it made us understand a lot more of where that business was going to head.
Yeah.
And I think that people who might want to jump into a different business, and jump in here if you feel like throwing in your 2 cents on this, but I think that so many people want to remove themselves from that other job, and they go with the first widget idea that they come up with, instead of sort of back rolling those numbers and looking at all of the research they can do in terms of the costs and the development and the length of time it will be to get product to market. All those things matter, because until you get it to market, you're just funneling money out the
You're
account.
kind of singing my song. One of the things that I've noticed with businesses, and particularly startups, and we use this term a lot, it's called strategic passion. So you're talking about the strategy behind the business, and then you've got this passion, but you've got to have both in order for action, for something to really happen. Because what happens sometimes is you got all the brainiacs behind the strategy, but they don't have the heart in it, and then it's just strategy. But passion with strategy, that's when things really happen.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It'll all test you. I mean, it's we're still friends, great friends, and better friends actually. There's,
It wouldn't work if it weren't.
it would not. And
Yeah.
I think that that's something that we discussed a lot early on in partnerships. And I don't know if you've worked with a lot of partnerships, but that friendship or the relationship of the partners has to have very clear boundaries and respect. Also, a recognition of when one or the other is just getting burned out. I mean, we're 80, 90 hours a week, and we have been for 7 years. So it's when you see it, and you got to push yourself. It's like coming off of the second or third line in a hockey game, and you're winded, and you got to get off the ice. Somebody's got to see that. The coaches got to see that and say, get off and put some fresh wheels in there. We do that a lot. We're like, oh my gosh, man. We walk in and it's like, man, get out of here. You got to go home. Go get some rest.
That's great that you have that
I got this
understanding
covered.
with each other. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is, it's like we both do everything, so we can, be like, dude, just freaking zip out for a day or two. Like, we need to do that for, go see your wife. I know you haven't seen her in 5 days.
Yeah, right.
Sleeping at the distillery for
Yeah.
So
I'm curious what the vision is for the future of the company. What are you all thinking
world
about?
domination. No, just steady, manageable growth. That's a big thing that we've always done. Is we're not one of those companies that just launches to market with 20 different products. We launched to market with one product, slowly brought out a second, slowly brought out a third, and we'll slowly bring out a fourth and a fifth, but growing slowly and maintaining the integrity of the products that we already have, and not growing out of our shoes. The worst thing we could possibly do is not be able to provide the products and the services that we're known for providing now. So by growing slowly, as fast as we can handle, essentially, is because we have the ability to grow faster, but at what risk, right? Or at what sacrifice of what we've already built,
Quality of product.
I think timing has a lot to do with it too. And there's a real interest in the whole botanical infused, the gin or vodka. I mean, I think kind of you're on a little bit of an edge.
Oh yeah, I mean, the gin market is flying through the roof. So, but everything is too. It's anything that's got a good story, that's authentic and truly handmade, is is what people are more and more after. They're
It's the
kind of
craft.
they're kind of over the stuff that all tastes like everything else. You know?
I'd like to know how you can take that sloshy that I enjoyed last night
right.
and how you can make that available in North Carolina.
Yeah. Oh boy.
These are the sloshies. Either with vodka or gin. This is my favorite. People come up to the window and get their sloshies.
It's just the sloshies are fun, and everyone has really good. Like a lot of places have really good ones in town. But we actually were voted the second best in town this year, so we're really excited about that.
We're the best.
Creekside won just because they're the originals.
Next
They probably
year,
they have the most loyal following.
You're not the only one.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, those are
They're special.
unique to this area for sure.
yeah, Eddie was drinking what seemed to be a Wendy's Frosty
Yeah.
with vodka
Oh
and
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, the Mexican
They're
chocolate
amazing.
cake.
cake
Yeah.
is so
Oh, yeah.
good.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's we're known pretty deep for the sloshies.
Yeah.
and people were coming to the window and ordering it.
Nice.
That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot like it's a lot like the not the Hurricanes, were they down in the daiquiri stands down in New Orleans? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Pat O'Brien says the Hurricane.
that's right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Monsoons at Portugal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is there
it's-
any? I was going to ask you too. Is there anything else you'd like to add? You know, that maybe could inspire other small business owners at this time.
Well, I'll throw it in because it kind of piggybacks off of Travis's last comments about passion and what drove us to the business. And I think that people that look at starting a business or getting into developing a business, we've never looked at this as a short-term game. This is a long-term business. We want to grow it, let it be generational, if possible. And I think that if you are starting a business, it's advised that you look at it as long-term, like not a 3-year and flip it and sell it for whatever you're dreaming about and win the lottery. That I don't think does anybody any favors in starting a business. Like, how do you create a business that has longevity, that's authentic, like what Travis is saying, and that I think building a brand is not an easy thing to do by any stretch, and it also takes time. So if you think you're going to build a brand, a spirits brand in 2 years, and all of a sudden the whole world's going to think you're the next big thing, we've never looked at it that way. We've always looked at it as, there's hurdles that come over time, and you're going to win over people who might not really want your product at first or kind of question it. You win all these little successes, and then all of a sudden you kind of find yourself where people are saying, "Oh, you're the guy that does this Still Works vodka," and you hear someone order it at a bar. They don't know who you are, and they're just calling for it. That's a pretty special thing, and it doesn't happen overnight. You've
Yeah,
gotta-
I heard in your story what you were just saying there is really to enjoy the journey, because I could tell that both of you love the building part of the business and the creative aspects of it.
For sure.
And you don't want to stop doing that, because that's what's giving you the energy.
That's the fuel.
Yep. Enjoy the journey on that for sure. When we were traveling across Wyoming, we were in Saratoga, and we were sharing that we were staying here, and I was surprised that everyone knew you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so it's like, oh, this
Yeah.
isn't just some small little, distillery and that we're going to camp out for the night. So I was pretty impressed by that.
Yeah, Saratoga's a cool town, man.
A lot of fly fishing there.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Great
yeah.
people. Yeah. Good restaurants and a lot of fun places to go explore.
Well, I'll tell you, we look forward to stopping by here 5 years from now.
Oh yeah.
And seeing
Absolutely.
the growth.
Maybe we'll have a bigger parking lot, so we
Maybe
have
so.
more harvest hosts down there.
But thanks for hosting us.
Oh, absolutely.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
we love having you guys.
Great
so,
to meet you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great
it's
to meet
been
you
so
as well.
fun visiting with you guys, and that's also part of the joy. All these fun people
Meeting
coming
people.
in and staying with us overnight, and good people like yourselves.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to talk about the labels because, as you can see, they're all really cool and fun.
Yeah, they're great.
So one thing that stands out right away is our bottles are short. So Chaz and Travis wanted to come up with a way to make them stand out more on the shelves. So they decided to add artwork to the back. So that's on the inside of the label. But they came up with this really cool idea for the vodka to change the label every year. So what we do is we host a competition for Wyoming-based artists every year, and we got 90-something submissions this year. And as a staff, we vote on our top 8 favorite ones, and then we host a party where people come in, buy drink tickets, buy some, have some food, and come in and vote on their favorite piece of artwork. And then whichever one gets the popular vote, that's the back label for the vodka for the next year.